everyone. Long time no see. I haven't been on here in a couple of days, so I hope everyone had a really great Thanksgiving. This is Vlog Media Breeze, and I come at you with the Real Housewives commentaries and reviews. I also review Love and Marriage Huntsville, which I will be doing tomorrow. They have a snazzy reunion coming up in the next couple of weeks, and I'm excited about that. Love and Marriage really brought it this season, okay? Um, Tonight we're going to be talking about Nicki Minaj and the reunion and just how the ladies replied to that 100,000 not that 100 million dollar question. Okay? And you guys just bear with me real quick. I am having some technical difficulty and I'm trying to get it resolved. So just bear with me one moment. Um okay, just one moment, okay? Sorry. Hey, you guys just bear with me one moment, okay? I'm gonna do this countdown for you one more time. I'm sorry to bore you with it, but I'm trying to handle some things real quickly. Okay, thank you very much for giving me that time. I didn't get a whole lot done because it is, after all, only 1 minute that I had to get it taken care of. So I will do it here shortly. I want to go ahead and get started in this because just one moment here. Go ahead. Okay. I want to go ahead and get started because I don't want to be on here long. My videos generally last like 45 minutes to an hour, and I am trying to shorten them, seeing as how I have not even arrived at the more than 1,000 um, subscribers yet. I'm still at like 870, and I'm hoping to be at more than 1,000 by the end of the year. There are people who have less videos than me, and they are not even as authentic as me, and they have a gazillion subscribers. There are airheads on YouTube who have more subscribers than me. There are people who cannot articulate well, and they have 300,000 subscribers, and people go over there and listen to them all day. And I think that that just speaks volumes about where people's mindset lies because I think I have a great channel. I want to bring people on. I want to have them come on board and talk. I think that I embrace a lot. And however, there is an algorithm that Google does put out against my channel. It's used against my channel. The same person shows up here numerous times, and I know I say this almost every video, and they have multiple accounts. And they think that I don't know about it, and I do. So I digress on that. Let me go ahead and get started with Real Housewives of Potomac. This was season 6, reunion 4. It was the very last episode of the reunion. I'm really very glad it is over. They could have done this in 2 episodes. They really could have. They could have done this in a two-part reunion. The one thing I will say is The ladies are all attention getters. They love to get the attention. And I say that because they were so rude. They were very rude, and they were rude to the host, and they were actually rude to the viewers. Albeit the viewers are not going to see them as being rude. They're just going to see them as what they call attention getters. I'll call them attention getters because I don't want to use the other word on here. Whenever you have a host and the host is asking one person a question, the other person should not jump in. I don't know how many times tonight I told Candace to shut up. She kept jumping in on everyone's question. That speaks volumes about her mental state to me. I shouldn't be, and I'm not qualified to speak about anyone's mental state, but it just speaks volumes. I was like, girl, she's not even asking you the question. She has a whole hour. She'll get to you. Or maybe she has, what, 45 minutes because of the commercials, or even 40 minutes because of the commercials. I digress on that. They were very rude. And it makes it difficult for the viewer to get anything out of the show. In fact, I really wanted to hear Ashley's first question. Whenever she asked Ashley about Juan and Michael and about Michael's uh, thought process and what he really wanted from Juan. Ashley couldn't answer it because Robyn was busy answering it. And she hadn't even gotten to Robyn. You guys, one moment. I told you I'm having some technical difficulties, so just one more moment, okay? One moment. Thank you for your understanding. I appreciate that. I also got some water. I also got some water. Hi, I'm an Aquarius. Welcome. We are just getting started, and I'm not going to be here very long, but I want to go ahead and I will get to that $1 million question here. Did you see the reunion? I'm an Aquarius. Because if you saw the reunion, you would know what the $1 million question was. Um, so um, so what I was saying is I was just speaking to the tune of how rude the ladies were, and it made it difficult to really get all of the answers that I wanted to hear. She starts off asking Robyn. She compliments Robyn. She thinks Robyn is very beautiful. So that lets us know that in person, Robyn is more beautiful than we see on TV. Although Robyn has different looks. Sometimes she has a boyish kind of style look. Um, it it's anti-feminine type of look. And at other times, like on the show, this reunion this year, she did have a very beautiful look to her, and it looked more graceful. I thought all of the ladies looked very beautiful, even Wendy. And I say that because people have very varying views about Wendy. I want to say she said something that I disagreed with. She said that this season that Juan and Robyn seemed to have a real connection, and that there seemed to be a some lovemaking going on or something like that. And I didn't see that. I saw Juan being quite repulsed and wanting to get out of the way, and it just looked like a complete setup. He was on the scene just to please Robyn. So I didn't see that. In fact, Juan at Karen's wedding, Juan left early, if you don't recall. At Karen's vow renewal, Juan left early. He had to go. And on top of that, when he ran out on Robyn and the window almost rolled up on her hand, I'm sure he apologized for that. He may not have known how that made him look. On that day, Juan was more upset with the perception Robin was putting out there about him as a father than he was anything else. I do not believe he was directly mad at Robin. I just think that Robin was out of line to do that to him on TV, and I think that's the one thing that let me know that that scene was a setup, and that Juan probably didn't really want to be there. It was just a setup for her to show that they do spend time together. Because why would she try to make her kid's father look that way? But he's in the house now. He's in the new house, so they're together clearly, and that's okay. That's okay if that's where he wants to be. Uh, I don't believe in a woman keeping a man around if she has picked up on the fact that he doesn't want to be there. Let him go. The viewers, we as the viewers have picked up on the fact that one might not want to be there, but we could be wrong because my aunt used to tell me no one knows what goes on between a man and a woman except that man and that woman. At the same time, many of us as viewers, we see their relationship and it does not seem like that closeness that you would imagine in a romantic relationship. It just doesn't. It just, and I digress on that. I hope it works out because I can tell she really loves Juan. And I think I don't know what she would do without him. And I think he knows that as well, you guys. So let's all stop hoping that they will break up because that is not something that I want for the heart of another woman, period, who has put in some time with a man. Next, she continues, and this is when she asks Ashley if Ashley went to Williamsburg just to have some camera time with Gizelle because as soon as she was done pumping her milk, she went right back to Potomac. I thought that was just well put. That was well put. What do you guys think about Ashley? Do you think that Ashley was doing that just for camera time? Because she did ask Giselle when Giselle had at Williamsburg, when Ashley and Giselle were speaking, and it was just the two of them, and Giselle was filling her in on the social media tabloid that was out there about Eddie and another woman and a baby and all this stuff, which we now know is not true. But it was out there. It was put out there by another vlogger who was quite dishonest about that, trying to gain subscribers, it looks like. So Ashley, in that scene at Williamsburg, when it was just Ashley and Giselle, Ashley is the one who initiated to Giselle that she should go uh, talk to Wendy about the information. She's the one who did that. And it does appear to be quite strategic that in terms of her wanting to have more camera time. So what do you guys think about that? Uh, I'm an Aquarius. You say you're watching now. If it's what you think it was, you have the answer, the real answer. You're watching the show now. Okay, so I'm Aquarius. You must be on Central Time. You must be on Central Time. Uh, but even if you're on Central Time, wouldn't it come on just an hour early at the same time? I don't know. And well, let's keep moving. Next, she does ask Robin about how Juan feels about Michael making passes at him. And listen, Nikki said tonight what I said in my previous video about about that situation. If you go back and look at my previous video, you'll see that I said most black men, or at least most heterosexual men, would be repulsed by someone making those types of advances to them, another man making those advances to them. Nikki said the same thing that I had been thinking. And Robin did not really get an opportunity to answer again because Candace kept butting in. Candace, oh my goodness, Candace is annoying AF. Candace is annoying AF. I, I, you know what though? I just, I'm done with her. She's too immature for the franchise and what it's supposed to be. You know what I like is the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. I subscribed to Peacock so I could watch it there on I got up to 5. I've seen all of them. I need to come on here and do a review. That's what I like. That's what I like. I like the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. That's what I like to see in the housewives. Mature, married women or women who have been married, which most of the housewives is they are in that position. I like seeing them out enjoying life, having a little bit of drama, good food, great views, great aesthetics, clothes. That's what I like. Candace to me belongs on Love and Chip Chop or something. I digress. I digress. I really do. She could not keep her mouth shut. Nikki had to tell her, "Look, I'm going to ask you to go to the other room for a moment. I mean, you can go to the other room in your head, and I'm just making this up. You can go to the other room in your head, or you can go to the other room in reality. You need to stop butting in. You'll get your turn." She was in everyone else's business. And then she's such a hypocrite. Such a hypocrite. In the last reunion, I noticed tonight that she said to Mia, when Mia, in the last reunion, the third one last week, Mia told Candace that she was saying that stuff about Chris tossing her salad because she was trying to get back at her for calling her handsome. Candace had the audacity to say it didn't matter that Mia was being inappropriate and that there was a borderline. Well, Candace, that's what we've all been trying to say to you, dear. There's a borderline when you're talking about someone's mom. You're telling her there's a borderline for talking about someone's husband. There's a borderline for talking about someone's mom. So there, back at you. Grow up, little girl. Grow up. I'm just outdone with this craziness of her. I will not watch next season if she's on. I promise. I will not review it and I will not watch. And not that my subscribers care because you see I have like 870. I wish all 870 were here. And so I digress on that. They all kept butting in as well. It wasn't just Candace, it's just that she did it the most. Nikki also asked Giselle about taking back Jamal. Can you believe this dizzy, green-eyed bandit said she said in a heartbeat. I want to give a quick review here on Giselle. Okay, I want to tell you something. I had an epiphany as I was watching the reunion tonight, and I listened to her answer about Jamal because in my mind, I thought, what would cause a woman of any value to say that they would take back a man like Jamal in a heartbeat? And I'm not putting him down. I'm not putting him down. I'm just saying just what's out there allegedly, the cheating, the scandal, all of these things about him that surround him and even Giselle herself. Okay, I'll take her words then this way I don't have to say allegedly. In a confessional a few years ago, Giselle called him cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater. She said he's a cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater. So she knows that he is a cheater. Yet she said she would take him back. This is what she said a few years ago. Yet tonight on that couch, she said she would take him back in a heartbeat. I am. What causes a woman of value to say something like that? She goes on. I want to say this about Giselle, and this is the epiphany I had. When you look at how it has taken her 3 years to get to the point where she is with rebuilding her home, okay? It wasn't that he was after her because she's on the show, but she's after him because of where he is now. Um, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? So when you look at the way she's rebuilding her house, right? She has, with all due respect to her, because trying to build your dream home, if this is her dream home or whatever it is, can take some time. But she spent 3 years and the house has really not expanded. It has not gotten to a place. She bought the place for $900,000 as it was. And as I look back on it, at that time when she made that purchase, Robin was doing what she calls flipping houses. So Robin, without Gizelle, can make it on her own. I think she's hanging on to Gizelle to keep the income flowing from this show. However, it's time for Robin to go as well. It is really time for Robin to go. We don't want another season. I don't want to see her and Ron get married on this show now. She has carried that sentence for really 3 years too long. She's been saying for the past 3 or 4 years, there's going to be a wedding. It has not happened. Bye, Robin, in the voice of LVP's husband. Goodbye, Robin. Goodbye, Robin. I just if there are other people on here, and I love when people get down in the chat, but I want to see more than one person get down in the chat because I'm seeing similar behavioral um this is the same behavior. I'm just trying to understand it. Um let's see here. Nikki asked why was he trying to get back with her? No, Nikki didn't ask that question. I thought you were watching the show now. If you just started watching the show and you recorded it, I don't even think Nikki has gotten to that question yet, has she? I think they were almost 30 minutes in. Nikki asked why was he trying to get back with her Nikki did allude to that. She alluded to that after asking a different question. Um, I don't want to lose my thought process on my review or my commentary. This is what happened. When you look at the way she's building her house, it is a little bit discombobulated to say the least. Okay. And I believe that Giselle lives in the mind frame of discombobulation. And that's why she would take a man back like Jamal. I believe that she lives in in the frame where it looks like it's boarded up nicely, but inside it's a whole ass mess. It's a whole ass mess. When you cannot apologize to someone, even on the last week, even when she said to Eddie, "Oh no, I don't owe him apology because I said I don't believe it." You started it. You do owe him an apology, ma'am. Set the example for your daughters so they won't grow up and be as messed up as you are. Set the example for your daughters. And I've really been trying to give Giselle the benefit of the doubt. I've been complimenting her because she does look beautiful, but she's not the most beautiful woman on TV. I grew up around really beautiful black women. I really did. Chocolate and light. Okay. Giselle couldn't hold a candle to the women I grew up around. Giselle is very average from my neck of the woods. And that's real. That is very real. So all these people out here who are always telling her how gorgeous and how beautiful she is, I mean, she's pretty. You can't take that away. But so is Karen and Robin and Ashley and Candace. I mean, I think that when you look at the way her house is coming, I think that is how her mind works. Things are a little messed up. That is my opinion about Giselle, because when she said that she would take back Jamal, I was like, I about hit the floor. I said, "No, she did." This is crazy. What is that telling your daughters? Your daughters are going to see this. And they're gonna be like, "Oh, and even your daughters said to you that they didn't like how their dad was treating you, and not that they don't love their dad. I believe they do, but they just didn't like how they were treating how he was treating their mom. And you have to remember they live with their mom. So when it comes to where their heart is, it's going to be with her because they are there with her. She feeds them, she clothes them, keeps a roof over their head, make sure they go to school, make sure they're able to get their license in a timely manner. She does a lot for them that they see, and that's where children gravitate to, is the parent who is there for them the most. So when they said to her, "We don't like the way he does you," remember that was like 2 seasons ago. And now they have to look at this show and hear her say that she would take him back in a heartbeat. If that's not an entangled mind, a web, I don't know what is. Um So you guys get in the comment and tell me what you think about the show, or about what I'm saying here. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, let me know. I want to go ahead next and say that she talks to Mia about her relationship with her mother. She says that she really, really loved the conversation that Mia had with her mother. I think Mia's mother is a mean-spirited person. I think any mother who can throw your child away, I don't care if you do think that they look like their dad or act like their dad, that is a little girl. That is a little girl. Oh, I just used to look at you and they'll be like, oh, she's got her ways like her dad. Her mom is the devil. I'm not into her. I'm not feeling her mom. I'm not feeling her mom on that. That's your daughter. You gave birth to her. Love her no matter. How can you not love someone that you gave birth to? A little baby, a little girl. Our duty is to take care of them, to feed them, to make them feel safe and secure, to hug them, to kiss on them like crazy. And she's sitting there repulsed at her daughter. That woman doesn't like her daggone self. She doesn't like herself. She's a mean person. Nikki said she liked the conversation that Mia had with her mother. Well, Mia needs to have these conversations with her mother. She's looking for answers. I will say something. When Mia first came on the show, I was so excited. And her and Gordon, they walked into Karen's house whenever we first met Gordon. Karen gave some event or her house where they played a game. And I really liked them. And then Mia began to exhibit what I thought airheaded, like, responses. Even tonight, whenever Candace was making comments to her, there's so much you can say to Candace. There's a lot you can say to Candace. When she told you you're crossing boundaries, I would have said, and you were crossing boundaries when you talked about my mother. So there. We've both crossed some boundaries. I crossed them with tossing the salad with your husband. You crossed them with calling my mother low budget. She needs to have some quick comebacks that are filled with truth. Even with Wendy tonight, I'm like, Mia just needs to be quiet, and not, or either just not be nervous around the women. Or she told Wendy was insecure. There was so much she could have said to Wendy instead of telling Wendy she's insecure. I would have said a whole lot of other stuff to Wendy. There's so much you could say to Wendy. Um, so um, Nikki continues on and she's talking to Mia. And I don't know, she was really soft with Mia. She was softer than I thought she would be. But she did ask Mia about tossing the salad comment, and when Mia said it was because Candace had just called her handsome, and um, well, Nikki wanted to know why it was so important that another man, Eddie, look you in your eye. And Mia was basically saying, he couldn't. She just felt like that Wendy uh, tells him what to do, and I really think she just felt like that Wendy was not being a good sport while they were playing the game. Because the question that Ashley posed was any woman in the room, and Mia was in that room. So for Wendy to exclude Mia, it meant that she was just telling her husband how to play the game. And I think that's basically what Mia was trying to say, and it just did not translate well. Then she looked at Wendy and told Wendy that she was insecure because I cannot recall the comment that Wendy made to Mia that made Mia. I think what was it? It had something to do with Mia's looks or something. And Mia said, "You're just insecure." If I was Mia, I would have said, uh, I would not have said the word insecure. I would have said, "You're just mad because I'm gorgeous." Something like that. "You're mad because I'm gorgeous. Look at me and look at you. You didn't want him. That's why you didn't want him to look at me." I would have put the nail in the coffin right there. Look at me and look at you. That's why you didn't want him to look at me because you know. And look at all the women that he's following around. I would have even said to her, and look at all the women he's following around on Instagram. They don't look like you. They look more like me. I would have put the nail in the coffin. Mia needs some strong comebacks. And not that I'm saying Wendy deserves all of that, but Wendy is quite insecure, quite frankly, I have to say. I mean, in my humble opinion, it appears that she's a little insecure. And she was getting on my nerves this reunion. I'm about ready for her to be gone too. I really think the Real Housewives of Potomac needs a whole nother shakeup. They need to get rid of, and even at this point, Ashley. But where else are they going to find another wife who's married to a man worth 30 mil in Potomac? Is that all the way around Potomac? If they've got them, they need to go be interviewing them because I do wanna see Mia do another season. I think that the first season is sometimes they're just trying to break in a little bit, and we allowed Wendy to do that break in last year. She's back this season. I might give Wendy one more season just to see what she can do. She needs to get herself out under control. Like whenever Nicki Minaj did an interview wherein she said that one of the ladies on the panel continued, I'm saying panel, one of the ladies of the Real Housewives of Potomac was staring at her the whole time, and she wouldn't give the name of the person who was staring at her. I want to go ahead and say now it's Wendy Osefo. Wendy Osefo stared at Nikki the whole time. I would not want to be sitting beside Wendy and have her staring at me the whole time. The whole time, it's just not the look that I would want. I mean, I would not want her eyes on me the whole time. It would make me feel very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. I just would not want her staring at me the whole time. It would just be very weird. But when now that I was watching the show because I was trying to figure out who that was staring at Nicki Minaj the whole time. It's Wendy Osefo. Even when other ladies were talking and the camera would pan back, you could see Wendy still staring at Nikki. The other ladies, their heads were moving, and I just would not want that. Sorry. She goes on and she asked Karen about her relationship with Gizelle and asked her why she would say the things that she was saying about Gizelle. As she was asking Karen that question, Robyn chimed in as usual, trying to get some airtime. The difference is the things Giselle is saying about her is true, and the things she's saying about Giselle is a lie. That's what Robyn said. Robyn, please let this be your last season. You know what Bravo should do? And if you guys have any connections, reach out to them and tell True Entertainment, True Media, that they should do a just like they're doing Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, they should do a Real Housewives ultimate misfits trip and have Robin, um, and some of the other ladies that people have been wanting off the show. I would say Cynthia, but Cynthia is already on the ultimate girls trip. Um, or they could just do another ultimate girls trip with Robin and no Gizelle. How about that? How about, because Robin really is a business-minded, creative person. You can see what she's done with her hats, and what else did she do? Just some other things. She's quite creative. And Giselle is not. And I think that Robin without Giselle could grow into something magnificent. Giselle really, with all due respect, and allegedly, and in my humble opinion, Giselle needs intense therapy. She really does. I think that there's a lot going on there that's keeping her from moving forward, and that's why it's even taken her house a long time to get to where she wants it. Because look at Robin and Juan. They have moved into their home, and they have moved into their home, yet Giselle's still building on her home 3 years later. Why didn't she just go buy a whole new house? I mean, she doesn't owe any taxes, so that's a good thing. Clearly, she has credit enough to buy a $900,000 home. She could have bought that in Potomac, or put a down payment on a better home in Potomac, and just had a mortgage. But she wanted, I think she was trying to follow in Robin's footsteps by taking a home and rebuilding it, reconstructing it. And because at that time when she bought her house, Robin was doing, she was flipping homes. And then Giselle went and bought her home that needed to be flipped. I digress. The $100 million question is this: Nicki Minaj asked Ashley, Karen, and Mia if they themselves had $100 million before they met their husbands, would they pick those same men? The humor behind this is Ashley said she was attracted to Michael physically, and Nikki asked her, this is the funny part. Nikki goes, "Really? What were you attracted to?" And so she gave off a lot of great attributes that people would say about their husbands, that I would even say about mine, that, you know, just a really good attributes. It was a good answer. And Karen said that she was a Ray stole her soul or something. She said something very deep. She said something about he had uh she was in love with the soul of Ray. Her soul was in love with Ray. And that was really deep. That was a good answer. And I believe her. You cannot spend 20 years with someone and not love them. I mean, some women could do 3 or 4 and not love them, and after that be gone, but 20 some years, that's definitely love. I cannot, anyone who stays with someone 20 years that they didn't love, they need they need help. Because how do you do that? And so Mia said that, I don't even remember what Mia's answer was. That's just how, okay. What did she say? What was her answer? I think she said she would still pick Gordon, but she would not marry a broke man. So that was the $100 million question. They go on, they ask Wendy, she asked Wendy about those models that Eddie was chasing, and Wendy was adamant that that was not true, and that was just basically it. She asked her about that, and I've already covered that early on. The That's when Wendy and Mia had conversation or had some dialogue about that issue, and Mia called Wendy insecure. And I just think that was when you start calling people insecure, that's just a that's what people say all of the time. It's such a bland comeback to call someone insecure. You need to come back with something a little more of the truth that you can really get them good. See what I just did something just to see if all of the people that I saw in here was the same person, and it is. It's the same person. And they always come back with a different name. I digress. I want to go ahead and say this is the first time that Andy has actually done a toast with one of the Black Housewives shows. He always does an end toast with the other ladies, like the Real Housewives of New York, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, the Real Housewives of New Jersey. He always has a toast or champagne or something at the end. He never does that with Atlanta and Potomac. Never. They always end on a different note. So tonight, the fact that he brought out some shots, I was like, okay, so he's doing a little something there at the end of it. And so that was the first toast for a Black Housewives franchisee. I promise I have not been drinking myself, franchisee. So that's let me just see, is there anything else that I need to cover? I don't think that there is. I don't think that there is. I just want to thank everyone for showing up. This is Vlog Media Breeze, and I will be back tomorrow to do the Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I didn't watch Portia, as you can see, because Portia was on now. She's about to go off in about 2 or 3 minutes. I'm just not into Portia. I think Portia is a flighty person, very flighty, and I just am not into her, and I also think she's a violent woman. I'm so I don't want to give her the pleasure of watching her show. I'm not interested in seeing any of that, and I digress on that. I'm not saying anyone else should or should not. I'm just not into it myself. And let's see here if there's anything else going on here. So you guys get down in the comments. Let me know what you thought about my commentary, my review. This is Vlog Media Breeze. Soft love, peace, and blessings to you.